Thanks for listening to Audiobook Select. This is Chapter 3 of Woods Runner by Gary Paulsen. Chapter 3. The woods were never completely silent. Even in silence, there would be a whisper, a soft change that told something. If you listened, complete quiet would speak words. Samuel had gone 5 ridges away from home, hunting, feeling the woods. Something was off. If not wrong, then different. The woods felt strange, as if something had changed or was about to change. Samuel shrugged off the feeling and kept going. It was hard to measure distance, but the ridges varied in height and width, and the forest canopy blocked out the sun. He was hunting bear, so he moved slowly and followed the aimless game trails, looking for signs of life. 5 ridges going in a straight line might have meant 4 or 5 miles. The wandering path he followed probably covered more than 7 or 8. He had seen no fresh sign until he came halfway up the 5th ridge, a thickly forested round hump shaped like the back of a giant animal. Then he saw fresh bear droppings, still steaming, filled with berry seeds and grass stems, and he slowed his pace through the thick undergrowth until he came to the top of the ridge. To his surprise, the trees were gone, and he could see miles in all directions. He had hunted in this direction many times, but had never reached this ridge before. The thick undergrowth in the summer and early fall had kept him from seeing this high point. He was amazed to find that below him, on the western side of the ridge, lay a small valley, perhaps half a mile long and a quarter-mile wide. The graceful chain of round meadows and lush grass was already perfect farmland. The treeless patch just needed rail fencing and a cabin to be complete. "Perfect," he said aloud, "like it was made to be used." A crunching noise, his rear, to the east, brought him around. The bear was 40 or so yards away, a yearling, slope-shouldered, dark brown, more than black, like a large dog. It was digging in a rotten stump on the edge of the clearing. Samuel cocked his rifle, raised it up, and held. He looked above the bear, across the tops of the trees. Smoke. Trails automatically looking for a turn or shift that would take him directly home. Home. An attack on his home. An attack on his mother and father? He had not been there to help. Deep breaths. Hard and deep pulls of air as he increased his speed, moccasins slapping the ground. Rifle held out in front of him to move limbs out of the way as he loped through the forest. The green thickness that once held him now seemed to clutch at him, pull him back, and hold him. An attack. And he had not been there to protect his parents. Part 2. Red War, 1776. Weapons. A single rifle, something every frontier family needed, something that was an absolute necessity, might take a year or more, and a year's wages, to get from one of the rare gunsmiths located perhaps miles away. This was the only weapon of many of the rebels carried into battle against the British. The firearm issued to the British Army was called the Brown Bess musket. It was a smooth-bore, and fired a round ball of .75 caliber, approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter, with a black powder charge, ignited by flint, that pushed the ball at 700 or 800 feet per second when it left the muzzle. Model rifles send the bullet out at just over 3,000 feet per second. Because of a round ball fired from a smooth bore, It is so pitifully inaccurate the ball bounces off the side of the bore as it progresses down the barrel. The brown bess was really good, only good out to about 50 yards. The ball would vary in flight so widely that it was common for a soldier to aim at one man coming at him and hit another man 4 feet to the left or right. With the brown bess, each British soldier was issued a bayonet, nearly 3 feet long, that twist-locked to the end of the barrel and turned the empty weapon into a kind of attacking pike. Along with personal weapons, the British Army employed artillery, small-field cannon, which fired plain round balls, exploding shells, and grape-shot; scores of round musket balls, packed down into the bore to make the cannon into something like a giant shotgun. Grape-shot was so viciously effective against columns of marching men that its destruction would not be duplicated until the use of rapid-fire machine gun in the First World War. Whole ranks of attacking men could not be torn to pieces in a single shot, the musket ball passing through man after man, ripping them apart. That was chapter 3 of Woods Runner by Gary Paulsen. To hear more of this book, go to our YouTube channel and click on Woods Runner by Gary Paulsen, and you can get this whole book for free on YouTube.